Thank you for joining us live from the Unlimited Sports Pepsi Center. My name is Nathan Hawkins. With me is Trey Marler, and it is the eve of the NSAA State Boys Basketball Tournament. Lots of good contests coming up this week at Pinnacle Bank Arena in the Bob Devaney Center. And we'll give you a breakdown of all the Class A matchups. Trey, it's pretty much a holiday here in Nebraska.
I mean, you would basically say it's a holiday. It's supposed to snow on Thursday. It feels like it's Christmas in March. You know what I mean? Boys basketball all week. Should be a fun week here in Lincoln, seeing what the best has to offer.
Yeah, rain tomorrow, snow probably on Thursday. And no matter the weather, we'll see which team can begin their championship reign this weekend.
For sure. All
of the Class A first-round games are tomorrow, followed by the semifinals on Friday before the championship at 6:15 Saturday night. Trey and I will break down each of the Class A teams and matchups, but I want to begin our discussion with something that's really changed the way basketball was played in Class A this season. Trey, this was the first season where Class A implemented a shot clock.
I mean, yeah, and I think the shot clock, it just made the style of play on the court better. You couldn't dribble out the ball with 4 minutes left. I mean, we saw a lot of close games, especially in the finals. I know Southwest came all the way back from a 5-point deficit, where if East could have just dribbled out the clock, it really could have made the game kind of boring, and I just think the shot clock just really took that game to the next level and made it more enjoyable for the fans that paid.
And there's also this relentlessness that pursued throughout the game with that shot clock. There wasn't teams being able to sit on a possession for a minute trying to find a good shot. They would be rushed to finish their possessions.
No, you had to go. There wasn't a sit back and letting the clock play out. The clock's running all the way through. So.
And like you said, the end of games really improved the quality of what we got at the end of games. We got some truly classic games this year. I can think of many games that I went to that went just down to the wire. And big comebacks, a lot of basketball that we wouldn't have seen in years past.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just more enjoyable to watch, and I can't wait to see how it affects the first year it's at the state tournament level too. It just should take that, what's already a fun tournament, take it to that next level.
In different classes, we'll continue to discuss whether or not that's something they will implement in their classes. And I think certainly if you look at the product of basketball that we had at the Class A level this year, I think there's certainly a really strong argument to implement that.
I mean, if you're at that Class B, C1, C2 level especially, you see the style of play in the Class A, you're like, I want that. If you're a coach, I want to be able to have the opposing team have a shot clock where they can't just dribble out the ball for a minute and a half or so.
And that's something I still continue to see in those lower classes of games where if a team has like a 4-point lead with a few minutes left, they will sit on the ball. They'll put it in park and just run the clock down, and it would just really destroy what could really otherwise be really good finishes and really exciting games, and it kind of ruins. It puts the rest of the game into a different perspective when you come down to it. It's tight, but one team has the ability to just kind of sit on it.
It's a 4-point game, but is it really a 4-point game? A minute and a half left. I mean, if you're a coach down 4 and they can dribble it out, you're like, just go foul and hope they miss their free throws. Where shot clock, you can't do that, and it makes it more enjoyable to watch.
Well, it's led certainly to a lot of exciting games at the Class A level this year, which is why this tournament, which begins tomorrow, has the potential to have some really memorable basketball.
No, yeah, I'm looking forward to a matchup to stand out. Omaha West Side, Lincoln East, 4-5. Southeast playing Gretna. It should be a fun time.
Yeah, so let's get into these teams that are here at the state. 6 of the top 10 teams who are in the preseason top 10, or 6 of the 8 teams that were in the preseason top 10 are in the tournament. Only a few real surprisers this year early on. But let's get into it. Bellevue West is the 1 seed. Bellevue West 26-0. And, they've been truly an unbeatable force. The 19th ranked team in the country. They will face tomorrow Lincoln North Star, the number 8 seed. They snuck in. They won their district. They won their district when they beat Gretna.
No, yeah, really a surprise team. But they're facing what is, without no question, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the state of Nebraska. Number 19 nationally, Bellevue West. Josiah Dotzler committed to Creighton. He's their leading scorer. If you want to have a chance, you have to stop him. But it's going to take everything Northstar has just to compete with the Thunderbirds.
And there's a chance that by the end of the season, we're going to be talking about this Bellevue West team as one of the best ever in the state of Nebraska. They could be undefeated record, a top 25 ranked team. This could be a legendary team.
No, I mean, it's going to be a season. If they pull it out, they'll obviously be undefeated at 29-0. They'll be finished, if not in the top 15, the top 10 nationally. I mean, they're going to be talking about for years to come, like you said. And and they're the clear-cut favorite. They control their own destiny, that's for sure. If they play good basketball, no one's going to stop them.
Well, I'll run through the rest of these first-round matchups, and then we can get into the districts and how these teams got to where they are. So also tomorrow we'll see the 4-seed Lincoln East against the number 5-seed Omaha West Side. Lincoln East won their their district. They went 19-5 on the season. Omaha West Side went 18-7. They also won their district. They beat Lincoln High. Miller North is the 2-seed. They are the two-time defending champions looking for the three-peat. And they will face Elkhorn South in the first round. Elkhorn South, the 7-seed. And, you know, kind of a rocky path for them to get here with not winning their district, sneaking in another way. Meanwhile, the final matchup of the first round of Class A is number 3 Gretna against number 6 Lincoln Southeast. So truly a lot of potential for some good basketball. That's what we're looking at tomorrow. But let's take a step back and talk about how these teams got here. First off, Bellevue West won their district in resounding fashion. Kind of been their MO. This is what they've been doing all season long. They won their district. They beat Lincoln Northeast 68-43. More run-of-a-mill game for Bellevue West.
Other than that West Side game in mid-January when they were cut to 2, 25 has basically been the number. They've just been kind of running through everybody. Yeah. It's almost to the point where you're just like, might as well stay home and listen to how bad they beat the opposing team. But, you know, it's state basketball. You know, North Star's coming in hot off that upset. I mean, Bellevue West, they've been beating teams by a lot, but they're still going to have to play well if they want to keep this magical season going. Yeah, so that'll take us to our next one. Gretna lost to North Star in the district finals, which was probably the biggest upset of all the districts in the state. Lincoln North Star, while they certainly a team with potential, with talent, Gretna was one of the best teams consistently throughout the year. Only 4 losses on this, or 3 coming into the game with North Star, and then North Star edged that one out. So North Star is kind of playing spoiler here early in March. They are playing spoiler, and they're looking to do it again tomorrow. I mean, obviously they held Gretna to 0 points in the second quarter, which that was really what got them over the top, and they stung at that 5-point lead. They're feeling good. Why not us? You know, that's what the coach saying in the locker room. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So if you want to win state, you got to beat Bellevue West eventually, so might as well play them first. That's right. That's what the coach is saying to them. They'll be getting started with about as good a team as we've seen. Next, we'll talk about Omaha West Side. They defeated Lincoln High in overtime, 83-76. Looked like another Lincoln team might sneak in there. We got 3 of them. Many people thought we'd only get 1 at this point in the season. A few upsets changed that. But West Side did squeak out a win against Lincoln High. And West Side's a team with a lot of potential. They are a team with a lot of potential. They're obviously the team they played the closest with Bellevue West, 2 points all year. They tied at 69 at the end of regulation, outscored Lincoln High 14-7 in overtime, and now they're cutting down nets and playing again tomorrow. So should be a fun one. Absolutely. Now let's go to the other big upset of the district rounds. Lincoln Southeast took down Creighton Prep 47-42. That one wasn't expected. Lincoln Southeast, also a team with a lot of talent, just hasn't always played to their capabilities throughout the season, but they secured that district win, and now they're still dancing. They are, yeah. They obviously haven't made it to state since 2014, so they're feeling good. And their Creighton Prep was a favorite. They went last year. Many people thought we'd see them there again, but Southeast went down to Omaha and said, why not us? And to beat the Junior Jays 47-42, and that was just another good game, another upset. It's state basketball. Never know what's going to happen on any night. It's state basketball. And, you know, Creighton Prep's been a team who's played really close with a lot of the best teams in the state so far. They beat Miller North, who's the 2 seed. They beat Gretna, who's the 3 seed. And now they find themselves on the outside looking in after the Lincoln Southeast upset. You got to win. You can win all you want in the regular season, but to win and go home in the tournament, and obviously they maybe got caught overlooking. You never know if a team you don't want to think that, but playing a team like Southeast, and now they're the 6th in the tournament. Creighton Prep had a really good regular season, but if you want to make the tournament, you got to win at the end, and they just couldn't pull it out. That's right. And then our final team here at the Class A state tournament is Elkhorn South. They took down Papio South. Papio South, a team with a lot of improvement. They were preseason top 10. They played really high-level basketball throughout the season, and this was probably a case of, in this game,
both teams were right on that bubble, and they knew that if they lost, they wouldn't find themselves in on the tournament. And Elkhorn South squeaked it out 53-49.
Yeah. Alcorn South, a really impressive year under first-year head coach J.J. Zilberman. They went 17-6. Really just they're kind of a team that didn't really stand out all year. They just kind of sat back and did their thing, won the ones they're supposed to, went 17-6, and then found a way to pull it out at the end of the day. And now they're still dancing, playing again tomorrow.
And they're still dancing indeed. So now we will go to our individual matchups between teams and give you a bit of a breakdown in the history of these teams as we head towards the state tournament beginning tomorrow. Number 1 seed, Bellevue West. We've touched on them a little bit already. They are 5-time champions, all since 2000. They've really been clearly one of those premier teams for this century for Nebraska basketball. Their most recent championship, 2020, that was in a very memorable game. If you'll remember, the world kind of shut down.
Yeah, that was the last game, I think.
And
right, it's kind of the day after.
Most states canceled their state tournament, their championship, but Nebraska didn't. In pretty much in front of no one, they were some of the only basketball being played in the entire world. And Bellevue West, they were down, I believe, 14 with 2 minutes left against Millard North. They stormed back, took the victory. That squad, obviously led by Chucky Hepburn, who's now star for Wisconsin. Very memorable squad, and they've come close a lot recently. They were runner-ups in 2018, 2021, and 2022. So this is a team that knows what this game is like.
No, yeah, they've been to the 21st ever trip to state. They know their way to Lincoln. And you know, last 2 years they've lost to Millard North. You know the taste is in their mouth. They want to get over that hump. They're the favorite coming in. And you just know they're coming in here. They're not going to let it happen 3 times. They've been here the last 2 times. They've lost in the championship both times. This one feels personal for them when they're making up the trip.
This is certainly a team eyeing history, an undefeated season. Let's just look at their numbers. For them this season, they have 1,956 points. That's about 78 points a game. And against 1,275 points. That is almost a 700-point differential in a single season of basketball play. That just spells dominance.
It's just dominance. They're averaging almost 80 points a game at 78.2. They're only giving up 1,275 in the whole season, averaging 80 a game. I mean, that's pretty high level numbers, and that's pretty tough to compete with on a night-to-night basis.
Well, you know, and they have a lot of talent. They have Josiah Doetzler, who's a Creighton commit. He's a 3-star player. His brother, a little over a decade ago, was a Creighton player, so he's continuing that family legacy. They also have Jaden Jackson, who's taken visits with the Huskers and South Dakota State. So some college-level talent. They also have size. Sophomore Robert Garcia is their starting center. He's 6'7", and Jacob Arope is 6'6" as well. So when you have that combination of talent on the perimeter and size inside, that's usually pretty lethal.
Yeah, plus they got the size in the middle, then they got Jaden Jackson shooting 42% from 3, and then Steven Pulselek shooting 47% from 3. I mean, that's a 4-man punch that's just really tough to compete with if you want to win.
You know, yeah, they're stellar 3-point shooting. And Jaden Jackson and Steven Policek, they both have shot over 100 threes this season. It's not like, you know, one of those situations where you shoot three-pointers.
10,
right, you know,
10, made 4.
These are players who are pulling it from behind the arc and they're hitting their shots.
No.
And when you combine that with the play that they have on the inside, the way that Doetzler just commands the ball whenever he's on the court, it's a really special combination they have.
No, they are. They're fun to watch. They're going to be fun to watch in the tournament. Excited to see how far they go. So.
And then their matchup is Lincoln North Star. Obviously, North Star, one of the newer schools in Class A. This is only their 4th ever trip to state. They're first since 2019. And like we mentioned, they're playing spoiler.
No, yeah, it's exciting to watch. So obviously, you said first time since 2019. Another team that has a first-year head coach since Lee Steinbrook, and they're kind of a surprise. They weren't supposed to be here, but they've competed well. They obviously upset Gretna in the final, and they've lost to Southeast by 3, and they competed with East, where they lost by 4. Those are 2 other teams that's in state. And obviously, being the hometown team, their crowds they're gonna travel. They're excited. They're only 4th all time. Should be fun to watch, and I think it should be a good atmosphere. And they're obviously looking to play spoiler. They did it once already, and then want to see if they can do it again versus Bellevue West.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a team with a lot of talent. They have multiple big men, Antala San Linnell and Brennan Clemens. They're both seniors. They can throw it down. They're fun to watch. As well as KG Gatwich, who's about a 6'3", 6'4" point guard. He can throw it down as well. They're an exciting team with a lot of talent, and another one of those teams that when they're on, when they're working, they're on.
No,
and, you know, they can truly compete with some of the best teams in Nebraska. Now, does that go as far as Bellevue West? I guess we'll see tomorrow.
We'll see. Yeah, they are fun to watch. Obviously, they're a team that's going to play good, and then they'll let you know they played good. They like to play fast, play a little flashy, and they're not afraid to get in your face a little bit. So if Bellevue West is not careful, Lincoln North Star can't give them all they can handle.
So next, let's go to our 4-5 matchup. Lincoln East is the 4 seed. They won their district against Lincoln Southwest. They were 3-time champions. They haven't won since 2001. This is their 21st ever trip to state. So, you know, and we visited Lincoln East this past weekend.
No, yeah, this is probably my favorite matchup of the whole tournament. You have Lincoln East at the 4, West Side at the 5. And Lincoln East, they're looking for redemption. They got eliminated in the district final by West Side last year. So this one's going to be kind of personal for them. And we went to practice last Saturday, and they're fired up. Coach Campbell has them excited. They're looking forward. Being in Lincoln, I was at that Southwest matchup, and those students, it was wild. I'm really excited. The crowd, obviously, West Side knows their way up here. They've been here in basketball last year, football 2 years in a row. This is the most intriguing matchup on paper. West Side has 3 guys in double figures, and Tate Ottawa, Kevin Stubblefield, and C.J. Mitchell. And then Lincoln East has that 1-2 punch at Carter Templemeyer, and then Carter Mick, too. This one's going to be a fun one. I'm excited for this one.
Well, we got to visit Lincoln East on Saturday and sit down with the coach and a few of their players. So we have a bit of a story we'd like to tell. So here's more from the Spartans practice gym. The Spartans weren't listed in the preseason top 10 following a 14-9 season a year ago. While 6 of the 10 teams from the preseason top 10 are in the state tournament this season, Lincoln East is playing spoiler.
We kind of didn't know what to expect. Once that preseason poll came out, we saw it. We knew we weren't really respected as much as we should be. And we honestly just put our head down and just kept working. We came to practice every day, just worked hard, and it's led to us winning districts.
The season was topped off with a district championship win against city rival Lincoln Southwest. Not only did the Spartans secure their spot in the state tournament, but they also secured the best record of any Class A Lincoln school. Coach Campbell attributes much of the team's success to a love for the game.
I mean, their motivation is they truly love playing basketball. They want to play basketball to win, and that's fun because that adds a purity back to kind of high school athletics that maybe goes missing sometimes.
Campbell said the team exhibits a brand of team basketball that has led to the success this season. Players playing out of position without one go-to scorer, Campbell said the team had to buy in. But with this squad, he said it was a willing transition.
I mean, it's kind of a no-drama team. They accept their roles, they thrive in their roles, and by doing that, I mean, it really allows us to kind of focus on basketball and not focus on, the other parts that could come along with the team.
Now, the Spartans return to basketball in March for the first time since 2021, when Lincoln East went 10-13 but won their district to sneak into the tournament. Senior point guard Connor Hamilton has seen the improvement over the years, and he said Lincoln East is capable of big things.
I think we could go on a big run. I think sky's the limit, really. We don't have a mindset of, oh yeah, we're going to go out first round. We're one game at a time thinking about it, but we still have that mindset to go win it.
The Spartans begin their state journey on Wednesday against Omaha Westside. Whether the Spartans can finish the tournament with their first state title since 2001 or not, Connor Hamilton said the friendships made on the team will always be remembered.
I think just the friendships, just all the memories that we've made throughout the years, ups and downs, just a lot to be grateful for here.
For Unlimited Sports, I'm Nathan Hawkins. So that's Lincoln East, the Spartans, 19-5, and really they have a lot going for them, as you saw, a tight-knit group that they have, and really well coached and fundamentally sound is kind of your takeaway on their game.
No, yeah, they're not going to score 90 points a game like Bellevue West. They're going to really break you down, make you use that full shot clock we talked about, really, they're good. Obviously, Carter Mick, the junior, has kind of been their standout. He's averaging 15.1 points per game. He's played really good in the postseason, and they're a team that when they're on the court, they look like they just enjoy. I think Coach Campbell made the point when we were there. They're not basketball players. They're friends that play basketball, and that really stuck out to me. And that kind of describes the way they play and the way they look on the floor.
And, that's kind of what we talked about them with these tight-knit groups. They are generally some of the teams that can make some noise come the state tournament, and they certainly have that. When you look at their team breakdown, they don't have the most size. They really don't. They have players playing out of position to make up for that. Coach said at one point that players who be playing 2-3 guards are forced to go down in the post on this team because that's just what they need. And they've really formed a new identity, and they've really found a buy-in among the players to make that their brand of basketball.
No, definitely. And they've definitely bought into it, and they're looking good. Obviously, they're playing again tomorrow, and their season still lives on. They're back in the state tournament. That's not much more you can ask for than that.
Well, their most recent trip to state was in 2021, and they went 10-13, and then they snuck in when they won their district. And also, their coach was not available for their first-round game in that tournament.
No, yeah, he got a good kick. We had a chance to talk to him about that. Obviously, he contracted COVID a day before the state tournament, so he couldn't coach. He was talking about how it was tough on him to sit all year and then coach all year and have to sit in his basement and watch the game. But he was really adamant to say it's all about the players. That's what he said. He just cares about. He loves his kids. He just kept saying all about the players, all about the players. And he's really a selfless guy, and he's done really good things out there in Lincoln East. Well,
and their matchup is Omaha West Side. West Side is one-time state champions. That was back in 1980, a little bit before our day, Trey. They runner-up 4 times, including in 2014. And this is their 18th ever trip to state. So this is a team, with some history, some pedigree behind them. Last year, they made it to the state tournament. They lost in the first round in a tight battle to Creighton Prep, 53-48. But this is, I think, the ultimate team. We talked about it a little bit with Lincoln North Star. When they are on, they are truly on, and they can compete with the best in the state.
No, yeah, this is definitely probably one of the, if not the most well-rounded team in this tournament. They have, obviously I mentioned earlier, they have 3 guys that average double figures a game, and they'll spread you out and knock you down. If that first one falls, expect another 4 or 5 to go down, and then they just good fun. Another one of those good, just fundamental teams. A little bit more of a scoring team than Lincoln East, but when they're on, they're fun to watch, and this is just going to be a really fun matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, they're stellar on the offensive end, and we talked a little bit about it with Coach Jeff Campbell as well. So the Spartans took down West Side about a month ago today, 66-50, but West Side shot 33% from the field. And that's not a winning recipe. And no. Coach even said, if they're shooting anywhere near their average, it's a much closer game.
No.
So if Westside can perform, they can certainly make it a really good contest. And like you said, this was your matchup to watch of the tournament.
And Coach Campbell was really adamant to say that they're not really looking at that one at all. He said they watched the film like the day after, but he said they're really locked in on this one, and then they're good. It's going to be a fun one.
Well, that's our 4-5 matchup. Next is our 2-7 matchup. That begins with Miller North, the back-to-back state champions. And then they were runner-up in 2020, so they've been to the state finals 3 years in a row. This is their 12th ever trip to state, but they are one of the hottest teams in recent years. No,
they know how to get to Lincoln, that's true. Obviously, back-to-back defending champions. And then this year, a little bit different. They have first-year head coach and Mike Etzler, another one of those teams. And then their leading scorer is Derek Rollins, a sophomore, averaging 14.9 a game. Obviously, a little different from years past. We had the superstar Hunter Salas 2 years ago, and then Jason Green last year. A little bit different formula where it's a sophomore leading the way, other than a 4 or 5-star senior that's D1 commit.
Yeah, definitely a team that's had to dip into different wells to find their success, but here they are again. They found that success, 21-4 this season. Their 4 losses, so they lost to Westside, as we mentioned. Westside, that team that can beat anyone. They also lost to Creighton Prep by 3. They lost to Bergen Catholic in a tournament game in New Jersey by 4, and then they lost to Bellevue West. So this is a team that won most of their contests, and then they lost a few close ones. But they're certainly a team. If there's a team with potential to win you'd have to think Millard North is right at the top of that list.
No, yeah, another guy that's right there with Elijah Gay scored 27 points in their district final win over Kearney, and just they know how to score and they know how to win. At the end of the day, it's teams that know how to win in Lincoln in Pinnacle Bank Arena because it's obvious it's not a high school gym. Obviously, it's a Division I Big Ten gym. You get the lights are going to be on, the lights are going to be bright. If you know how to win in Lincoln, that gives you an advantage. And Millard North, obviously, back-to-back state champions. They know how to win in Lincoln. I think that will be posed really big as you get on the stretch into Friday, Saturday.
And they're taking on Elkhorn South, who's a team not with much pedigree. They opened in 2010, and they turned Class A after 2017. And here they are in the Class A tournament. That's a quick development of success at that school.
No, yeah, and that's obviously their only state championship is in Class B, so they're seeking that first Class A state championship. But they're one of those teams, I said, they just kind of weren't really flashy, wouldn't line up the scoreboard every night, but they just kind of went to work every night, played their game, did what they had to do to win, and now they found themselves back in Lincoln.
Well, just last year, 2022, they were in Lincoln, and they fell to Millard North in the first round. So this is a chance for vengeance if you're the Storm of Elkhorn South. And, you know, they certainly have some potential. They are one of the better defensive teams in Class A. And if they can, you know, maybe shut down Derek Rollins or slow down Millard North on the fast break, they're a good team in the fast break, then maybe, you know, you could see them coming out with a win. No, yeah,
there's just show up, and at the end of the day, you just got to play your game. Just like can't make the scenario bigger than it is. Obviously, they're led by Alec Noonan, 18.7 points per game, brother of Maverick Noonan, the Husker football player here. So they know their athleticism's on the team. The athleticism that you said they played good defense, they can score. At the end of the day, just don't make the scenario bigger than it is. Just show up, play your game, and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, we'll see how those chips fall. That matchup is also tomorrow night. And now we'll go to our final first-round matchup. Lincoln Southeast and Gretna. Gretna, the 3 seed, and Lincoln Southeast, the 6 seed. So Gretna didn't win their district. They got bounced early, and it was one of those more shocking things when they lost to North Star. Lincoln Southeast is a reverse. They snuck into this tournament because they won their district. They beat Creighton Prep and kind of knocked them out of the tournament. But this has a potential to be a great game.
No, yeah, Gretna, they're kind of limping in. You know what I mean? Gretna's limping in, Southeast coming in red hot. Obviously, Gretna knows how to gear. This is their 23rd trip to state, and they know they got a bad taste in their mouth. They found a way to get in the tournament. They kind of want to make up for that loss. And the Southeast, on the other hand, they haven't been since 2014, but they went 15 times from 95 to 2014. So they know how to play here. They're experienced here. Obviously, they've never won one here, but they're playing good basketball, and they're looking to play spoiler again against the Gretna Dragons.
Yeah, like you said, Southeast never championed, but plenty of experience here. But this is their first time since 2014. And this is a team with a lot of talent. They have Bengat Dak, who I've seen him listed between 6'7" and 6'9". He's one of the tallest and most exciting players in Class A. He knows how to throw it down, and he is an absolute menace in the paint. Certainly someone they'll rely on a lot, as well as young guard and B.J. Bradford. This is a team with a lot of talent that I've watched a lot this year. And when they play to the level of their talent and don't get in their own way, they look as good as anyone in the state.
No, they can win any game on any night, and that's what makes the tournament so much fun. And this is another one of those, the 3-6, kind of that 13-4 in the NCAA March Madness tournament. You know, you should probably win, but if you don't play good, that 6 seed will sneak up on you and end your season real quick.
You know, in Gretna, when you look at, they're 19-4 this season. When you look at their losses, check this out. They lost 62-61 in December to Creighton Prep. Then they lost to Bellevue West by 11 in January. Then they lost in overtime to Millard North, 59-58 in February. And then they lost their district finals. Now, the first 3 are great losses, and then the district finals one is pretty stunning. You know, this could be, we'll have to see how they can rebound from a loss like that, because this is their most defiant loss of the season.
No, yeah, I mean, plus, you know, coach is obviously he's in there saying, "No, that's on us. You found a way to get in the tournament." At the end of the day, it's you're 0-0. That's what you're 0-0. The season, obviously not a great loss, but they've been competitive against teams that are here, and then they've really got they've got another second chance, you would say, just a second chance to come out there and play basketball and find a way to see if they can cut down the nets on Saturday.
Well, that is our slate of Class A games tomorrow. Now, Trey, I want to get into prediction time, where we can take our guesses of who will be hoisting the Class A trophy plaque come Saturday night. Let's get into it. First matchup, Bellevue West, Lincoln North Star. Who you got, Trey?
I think you got to go Bellevue West. As much of a Cinderella story as North Star is, Bellevue West is the clear-cut. They're the clear-cut best team in the state. I think they take that first matchup.
Yeah, North Star is a team with a lot of talent and can really play to a high level, but Bellevue West is a different level. I'm going to T-Birds.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next game, Lincoln East and Omaha West Side. Trey?
I like the Spartans. I like Lincoln East. I think they're playing at their best basketball at the right time. I think West Side's a good team, but I think Lincoln East is going to take that loss last year, take that personal, and show up and get the job done tomorrow.
Yeah, the history between those teams, West Side ended Lincoln East season last year in the district finals. I think the roles will be reversed here at Pinnacle Bank Arena tomorrow. I think Lincoln East takes down the Warriors. Next up, Millard North and Elkhorn South. That game is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Trey, who you got in that one?
I like the Mustangs. Obviously, like I mentioned, they know how to win here, back-to-back state champions. Elkhorn South is the good team, but I think Millard North is kind of a little bit too much for them to handle tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think Millard North plays sound basketball that can really turn it on when they need to, and I think they'll turn it on tomorrow night against Elkhorn South. I say they win it. Next up, Gretna, Lincoln Southeast. Who you got in that one?
I'm going to go Lincoln. I'm going to go the Knights. I like the way the Knights are playing basketball right now. Gretna, they're a good basketball team, but they haven't proved to me that they know how to win consistently. Lincoln Southeast, they're back, hometown. Crowd's going to be there. Students are going to travel. I doubt they go to any chance to not go to school. They're going to be there. So I think the Knights get it done. I think they upset Gretna.
Lincoln Southeast is a team certainly capable of pulling off the upset with a lot of talent. I'm going to say that Gretna, they rebound off their loss in the district finals, and they get it done, take down Lincoln Southeast. I think it'll be a close matchup, though.
No, it's going to be a good game for sure.
So, and then in the semifinals, we both have Bellevue West versus Lincoln East. Trey, who you got in that one?
I like Bellevue West. I think Lincoln East is a great team, but obviously Bellevue West is just one of the best teams in the country, not even the state. I think they win again, and they're playing on Saturday. Yeah,
and again, I'm going to have to go with the T-Birds. Like you said, they are the 19th ranked team in the country, not in Nebraska. This team is capable of great things. They play together. They are not the most flashy team, but they are the best team in Nebraska, and I think they take down Lincoln East. I could see the Spartans giving them a fight, though.
No, the Spartans aren't going to be a pushover. They know how to play defense. They can control the clock really well. And it's not me a pushover, but I do think Bellevue West gets it done.
Okay, so you have Millard North versus Lincoln Southeast in your bracket. Who you got taking that one?
I like the Mustangs. Again, I feel like they're playing one of those teams that are playing good at the right time. Obviously, they have that 1-2 punch at the top of the key. And then I just like the Mustangs. Obviously, they know how to win here, and that gives me a lot of faith. And I'm going to go Mustangs playing the T-Birds on Saturday.
So I got Millard North versus Gretna. And Trey, I think Gretna really has a chance to respond well after their district loss. They played a lot of close basketball, a lot of close losses this season. Really haven't been all that vulnerable at all. I think I'm going to take Gretna to upset the Mustangs and end their 2-year run as champion in the semifinals.
That's going to be another one of those games. It's going to be another one of those exciting games. It can go either way. It should be a fun one.
Absolutely could be. So in your predicted championship matchup, you have Bellevue West and Millard North. Who are you taking, Trey?
I've stayed with them all week. We've been breaking down the teams. I think you kind of chuckled when I said it yesterday, but I'm taking the Millard North Mustangs.
Wow.
They go 3 in a row. I know it could be a hot take. I like them. I really like. There's something about them. I just like it, and I'm going to take them to go 3 in a row. End Bellevue West season for the 3rd time.
Down goes Goliath, you think, huh? Well, Bellevue West, we saw them look vulnerable towards the end of the season again against West Side. I think it showed a little bit that they are immortal, they are immortal, not immortal, that they could lose a game, that they're just not going to trounce through the whole season but I got them taking down
No.
Gretna, finishing their undefeated season with a Class A championship. This team is just so good, historic. They have one of the best coaches in Class A basketball history in Doug Woodard. This is a team that's played their best basketball all season long. I just think the consistency and level they've been playing at, I find it hard to believe that they could be deterred in the state tournament.
No, it's one of those that I wouldn't be surprised with either way. Obviously, Bellevue US is the favorite. Miller North a little more on the underdog side, but either team they can figure out how to win away. Even Gretna too, like you said, you like Gretna. They're one. Feels like they're one win from getting back on track. If they win tomorrow, they could go the distance. Should be a really fun week here in Lincoln.
It should be a really fun week, as you said. Lots of good contests and, the potential for games to come down to the wire. That's what March basketball is about here in Lincoln. The Big Dance, NSAA State Boys Basketball Tournament. We had your Class A breakdown. But be sure to tune into KRNU2 all week long for radio broadcasts of these games. No matter the class, any game at Pinnacle Bank Arena will be featured on KRNU2. Thank you for tuning in, Trey. This has been fun.
It's been a good time. It's really been fun to kind of see what the shakedown is, kind of what to expect. Obviously, we're going to be there all week. Should be a good time. I'm excited to see who pulls it out on Saturday.
Well, we will see, and stay tuned to Unlimited Sports on Twitter for updates of all the games in action. And we will see who will hoist the championship trophy on Saturday night. This has been your Class A breakdown of the NSAA State Basketball Tournament. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Nathan Hawkins with Trey Marler. Have a good night.